Yo guys, welcome back to the video. You're here with me, Sammy Hikmat, of course, on the Sammy Hikmat channel. Today we're going to be bringing you another TF2 video. We've already done one of these videos before. It's one of the videos where we look at my favorite loadouts, but before we did it for competitive matchmaking. So now we're going to be looking at my best loadouts, you know, all the sort of fun, in-game, casual moments. And those are the moments where I really enjoy TF2. You can just dance around a map. You can use whatever gun you want, you can use the short shot, you can shove people around, it's just really good fun. Also guys, I would love to say thank you so much for the support I've been getting. This channel has grown so huge in such a little bit of time. I'm really happy, I'm really proud, and let's get the subs up to 100. I think we're on 75, 76 as we speak, but we can go higher, we can go more, we can punch right through that roof. So let's do it, and yeah, enjoy the video guys. So let's have a look at the scout first. So for the scout in casual play, I love the short shot as my primary weapon. It's basically a pistol that fires it doesn't fire four, it has 4 barrels, and each one contains a shotgun round. I think it's like a slug shotgun round, and it fires each barrel individually, so you get 4 shots, i.e. short stop, and it basically reloads like a double barrel shotgun, so you have to break the barrel away from the clip and the handle. Then the scout replaces the 4 shotgun shells back into the barrels, and then it's ready to fire. So it is a fantastic weapon, and also the reason why I love it so much is because when you press Alt fire or right click, it allows you to push people on the enemy team, which is quite good fun on a high tower and places where you're high up, because you can push them off cliffs and you can push them off the high tower, and that's pretty good fun. Now for my secondary, I've gone for the Bonk Atomic Punch, which basically is an energy drink that gives you invulnerability for 8 seconds. What this means is when you drink it, you have 8 seconds where you can't be shot by anything, rockets, grenades, whatever. You can't be hit by anything, and you basically dodge bullets as if you're in the Matrix, which is pretty cool. So I love that, and that's pretty good if you want to run in, let's say, 2-4 to capture the flag, to quickly get past the enemy's defensive line, past their sentries, into their base, collect the flag or intelligence, and then come back. Or it can be used for trolling sentries and fun stuff like that. So that's pretty much one of my favourite secondaries. And then as my melee, I have the Sun on the Stick. And basically what this is basically a Sun on a Stick. And as you can see here, it gives 100% chance of a critical hit versus burning players. And it gives you a 25% damage resistance while deployed to fire, which is pretty useful because a scout anyway has pretty low health, so when a W11 Pyro comes around the corner, it can be pretty scary for people. So who are playing scout, because they don't have much health, so it's very useful to have that buff to allow them to get back and find health and, you know, just be able to recover. So that is my favourite loadout for the scout. I think next we will move on to the soldier. So now it is time to move on to the soldier. And soldier's not something I play that much with, but I have been practicing a lot recently. Oh, that Gibbous, bro! Ah, oh, that face is just amazing. So anyway, so my favourite rocket launcher to use is the direct hit. And then basically the way that this works is when you equip it, it has an extra 25% damage bonus and an extra 80% projectile speed, which means it's really good for air shots. And kind of when you fire a rocket, you kind of a lot of the time have to predict where someone's going to be. This means that you require a lot less predictability because the rocket reaches its target much faster. It says here, mini crits targets launched airborne by explosions, grapple hooks, or rocket packs. So that's pretty awesome as well. But one of the downsides is it has a 70% reduction in an explosive radius, which basically means unless you hit someone with a direct hit, i.e. the name direct hit, it won't do as much damage. So if you hit someone, you really won't do any damage to the person standing next to them, or if you hit the floor and there's somebody standing pretty much above it, it won't do that much damage to them. So you have to be really accurate with your accuracy and be on point. I think my other one that I really enjoy is the Cow Mangler 500. The best thing about this is it fires energy shots and it does not require ammo, sorry. And if you do alt fire, it does a charge shot which takes longer to power up.
but when you fire and you hit someone, I think it deals mini crits, it deals burn or fire on them, and it also disables sentries up to 4 seconds, which is really useful for your team to help disable sentries. But a lot of people don't actually recognise this feature of it, and not many people use it to disable sentries. Now, I don't know how to pronounce this, but my secondary is a healing. It's basically the Con Jahira, and what it gives you plus 4 health every second on wearer. So it basically allows you to heal, which I really like, because as a soldier I like to play quite aggressively with rocket jumps and stuff like that. And when I have this, I just don't have to worry as much about my health, which is really useful for me. And then I have the shovel, just for the basic point of market gardening. I think everyone knows what market gardening is. If you don't, it's basically where... Oh, no, sorry, I should have the market gardener quick list. It's basically where you jump up, you land on someone's head, and as you're coming down, you smack them on the head with this shovel, the market gardener. So it's pretty good fun, and it deals crits. If you hit someone on the head, it should deal crits. And then, yeah, that is my favourite loadout for casual play with the soldier, and I've got the Professor's specs, the full head of steam, which is like a gibbous, and it looks pretty awesome, I think. So that is my class for the soldier. So here we are, we've done soldier and scout. It is now time to go on and have a look at the pyro. Now the pyro, this is obviously a lot different to my competitive loadout. This is my casual loadout. So I have gone for the rain blower, which is obviously a play on words for a rainbow, and then it blows out rainbow. And when you equip it, you visit Rainbow Land, or Pyro Land, sorry. And there's a happy, beautiful place full of rainbows and beautiful colours and children, because the Pyro obviously is a psychopath and is completely mentally and utterly screwed up. So it's quite good fun to use that, especially in casual. When you're running around, what everyone else sees is this map with loads of blood and shooting and stuff like that. What you see is a beautiful, happy land full of lollipops and rainbows. So it's yeah, that's probably my favourite pyro primary. Then secondly, I have the scorch shot. The scorch shot is a much more serious weapon than the rainbow, or the rain blower. Sorry, rain blower. I get confused. Anyway, the scorch shot is much more serious. As you can see here, it does 100% mini crits versus burning players. Flares, knockback, so it shoots flares, knocks back on the target on hit, and explodes when it hits the ground. And if you hit someone whilst they're burning, knockback is increased. Knockback is basically when you hit the person, they kind of go backwards, but it is what it says it is. It's knockback. It knocks them back. So that is probably my favourite, although I do love the thermal thruster. They're like a jetpack, but with like real fire and stuff like that. And you can do a pretty awesome taunt kill with this, where the pyro farts and just basically ejects flame from the thermal thruster. It is quite a hard taunt kill to perfect, but that has to be my second favourite for messing around in casual. And then as my melee, we have the sharpened volcano fragment, which is just an epic melee weapon. I crafted this one, as you can see. So what it does is when you hit, it only has one feature, but that feature is pretty awesome. Is when you hit someone with it, your target is engulfed in flames as if someone has used a flamethrower on them. So that's pretty sick for me. Although it does have a 20% damage penalty, but when I'm playing running casual, I'm not going to try hard. I just love to do cool things. So that is my pyro loadout, and I'm not even going to talk about the face mask I use for that, because that scares me. So I'm not even going to go. So guys, it is now time to move on to the Demoman. I think my Demoman class of casual is very basic, in the terms of I use the ordinary primary grenade launcher, and as for my melee I use the bottle. But I don't really play Demoman that much, as you know I'm more of a sniper guy. But when I do play him, I love to use the grenade launcher. Very simple, no stats. However, I do enjoy the lock and load, and I put a special colour on this one. And it's got a 25% extra projectile speed and a 25% extra damage against buildings, but it's got a 25% reduction in clip size and 25% reduction in explosion radius. But if I am playing casual, I'll either play with that or the grenade launcher. The grenade launcher, the standard one, I just like it for the fact of the randomness of where the grenades go and how they bounce, because no other grenade launcher gives you that capability to bounce and for them to roll almost 3 times as far as you've thrown them. So that's pretty cool. For my secondary, I have the Scottish Resistance, which allows you to plant, I don't know how many, I think it's 14 pipe bombs out, and pipe bombs are sticky bombs, which means if you don't know what they are, which, I mean, if you don't, you'd be living under a rock. Basically, you fire them, they land, they stick somewhere, and then you can choose how to detonate them. The only difference with the Scottish Resistance is it has a 25% faster firing speed. It allows you to put an extra 6 out before it starts replacing them. A 6 extra than the normal sticky bomb allows you to think. And you can actually see them through walls, and you can choose which ones to detonate, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, that's why I love the Scottish Resistance. Always have a problem saying that, man. Always do. And then I think for my last, I have the bottle. I know there's kind of really cool other options out there, like the Eyelander. You can mix with the shield and the Conscious Ejector. You can kind of put your symbol on there, or if you want Persian Swader, which gives you your charge meter back or whatever. But I just love the bottle, because when you hit someone over the head with the bottle, it's just satisfying, you know. And then you can kind of do the drinking emote and it all smooth it together. So for me, it's the bottle, just out of pure satisfaction. So yeah, that is my demo loadout for casual. Time to move on and have a look at the heavy. So we are going to have a look here at the, I think it's the Brass Beast is the real name, but I've renamed it, oh yeah, bye bye boys, or boys bye bye, because of the amount of damage it deals out, and it is pretty cool. I apologize for my voice, I have got a bit of a sore throat. ATM, nothing to worry about. But the Brass Beast, its original statistics are as follows. So 20% damage bonus and a 20% damage resistance when below 50% health and spun up. But when you are trying to spin it up, it has a 50% slower spin up time, which means if you play TF2 in anything more than ×1, so if you play it like ×5, ×10, ×1000, it will take literally your whole life to spin up. And then there's the mixed minus 60% slower movement speed while deployed. So it's a lot like a tank, very slow, but deals a lot of damage, and I really like that. My secondary, I have the Nutcracker MK2 Warpaint Family Business. I put obviously the MK2 Nutcracker Warpaint on it, which I think just makes it look really old, worn and tattered, which I really like about the gun. But if you look at the original statistics for the original gun, it has an increased clip size by 33% and a 15% faster firing speed. And although when you shoot it, it feels like it's got a lot of power behind it, it actually has a minus 15% damage penalty. So that is very interesting. But when you feel it, you really do feel that extra 15% faster firing speed. You really do feel that power when you press fire. And finally, you have the Holiday Punch, which when it critically hits, it forces the victim to laugh. So if you hit another player critically, they will start laughing. If you punch them from behind, you will always get a critical hit, a lot like the backburn of the Pyro. But unlike the backburn of the Pyro, it will then make you laugh, and basically then you can do an awesome taunt kill on them. So they're amazing fun, and you can get into laugh-offs with other heavies who have the Holiday Punch. And yeah, that's my class for the Hoovy or heavy, doesn't really matter. On the subject of being a Hoovy though, those of you who are a Hoovy in game, and if you are being a Hoovy in a normal casual match and not competitive, and someone kills you, unless you're doing something wrong obviously, but if you're just being a normal Hoovy and someone kills you, you have the right to complain, because Hoovies are a benefit to the TF2 society, and I state that right now. I miss all the Hoovies that died. Alright, it is time now to have a look at our 6th class, and that is the Engineer. The Engineer has a lot of different customizable options for how you want to play with him. You can play with him aggressively, you can play with him passively, you can play with him for memes, you can do all sorts of things. So casual I can do all sorts of bits. Sometimes I just like to spawn camp and be an absolute douche. I don't want to get demonetized, even if this clip was ever going to make any money. But yeah, so it can be customized for quite a few things. So sometimes I just like to sit back, play defenses on red, build up my defense and see how long I can hold it out. Sometimes if I'm attacking, I'll try and get an enemy teleporter behind, a teleporter behind enemy lines, so then I can spawn there. And that's why I've decided, actually we'll get onto that later, for the wrench, that's why I decided to go for the Eureka effect. I had a little bit of a debate with myself before I actually chose this and went on to record this part of the video, and I actually thought, no, the Eureka effect is my favourite chosen, but the Jag is not far off. Anyway, let's have a look at our primary. So the primary shotgun is the Widowmaker. Now the Widowmaker actually uses metal that you use to repair sentries and build stuff like that. It actually uses metal from those shotgun, from that, to fire in the shotgun. But the way it works is, for every bit of damage you deal to an enemy, you get that back in metal, which is pretty cool, I think. And it increases your damage to your sentry's target by 10%, but it does use 30 metal or 30 ammo per shot. So it does consume a lot of metal, which means you have to be on point with your aim if you want to get that metal back. For my secondary, I've just gone for the pistol because the Wrangler, which allows you basically to actually control your sentry, I never find it as useful as actually just letting the sentry by itself, because although with the Wrangler you can kind of ask your sentry to fire further or to get into spots you're not really sure that it could find enemies by itself, I find the sentry is much more quicker than using the Wrangler, and when you stop using the Wrangler, it takes around 5 to 10 seconds for the sentry to deactivate and then reactivate, which makes it vulnerable and makes your team vulnerable. And the short circuit, I've never quite understood how it works, so I'm going with the bog standard pistol for my secondary. And then this is where we get onto the debate, which I said I had earlier, between the Eureka effect and the Jag. The Jag basically allows you to repair much quicker. It has a 50% faster firing speed and construction hit speed boost increased by 30%. And when I'm talking about Jags, I never look for something that has a lot of damage penalty or extra damage or stuff like that, so I'm not really interested in all that stuff. So that's really for kind of fast build up and quick repairs for a sentry. But then there's also the Eureka effect, which basically it allows you to, when you press, I can't remember which combination of keys it is, but when you press a certain combination of keys, it allows you to choose to teleport either to your spawn, or it allows you to teleport to the exit of your teleporter, which is pretty cool and pretty useful to get out of like dangerous situations. And it also can be really useful if you want to put as I talked earlier, a teleport exit behind enemy lines. It's really useful to transport back there and transport back to base to get ammo and metal, because you might not always be near the nearest metal deposit. So yeah, the Eureka effect I think has to take it for my casual play favourite, but the Jag is very closely behind. The Gunslinger, just as a quick introduction for those of you who don't know, kind of the engineer wears it as, instead of his hand, it's kind of like a robotic hand, and allows you to build mini sentries, but with that it takes away the option of being able to build full sentries. So that is the Gunslinger, just in case you're wondering what it was. And then obviously the construction PDA. So yeah, that is my loadout for the engineer. Right, now we're going to move on to a class that, to be fair, I don't know that much about, because I haven't really played much of Medic. Find our stats. Yes, here we go. Stats, and then Medic. Should look here. Longest life 4 minutes 28. I mean, it's really not that bad. Yeah, I mean, I really don't play Medic that much at all. So I don't know why I choose the Crusader's crossbow. I mean, it just looks like a pretty awesome weapon. I don't really know why I choose it. It's just useful. Now the Crisbug, I do know why I use it, because it gives us Uber charge, and it has a 25% increased Uber charge rate. And basically the way Uber charge works is it best probably works when given to a soldier, a pyro, or best scenario, a heavy, because it gives 100% critical chance. So for the time period that you're Uber charged, the person that you're Uber charging basically gets all his shots are critical hits. So on a heavy, it just deals out like a ton of damage. And then the Uber saw, on hit, 25% of your Uber charge is kind of, your Uber charge meter is filled. So that means it really supports the Crisbug. So the Crisbug and the Uber saw, they go together very well. And then the Crusader's crossbow, I don't really know why I have it. in the same clip, let's move on to the sniper. And this is definitely my favorite class. You guys know this. And yeah, so we'll look at that in just a moment. So I am so excited to share with you my class of sniper. I could talk about this all day long, but I'll have to keep to a certain length of video. Otherwise you guys will nod off. So the sniper, it's a class that can be played in all sorts of different. I mean, if you use a sniper rifle, it's meant normally more for long range to mid range. Whereas if you use something like the huntsman, it can be used for like close encounters, which I do. So the huntsman is basically a bow and arrow, but I have the machina, or the machina, some people say, but the machina, and I have a kill streak machina, the Sydney sleeper hitman, a heatmaker, which is a silent weapon, the bazaar's bargain, which has a very odd scope, another machina, a huntsman, the classic, which is the most useless sniper gun in the whole game, probably the most useless gun in the game, the AW per hand, which is probably the sniper choice for people who want to play pros. It doesn't have any special statistics or anything. It's the same as a normal sniper rifle, it just looks like a 50 caliber one. The normal sniper rifle and then the huntsman. And this is my favorite weapon that I use for close encounters. Basically, the longer time you draw back the bow to a certain point, the stronger the shot is, and then after that you start to lose accuracy when you actually fire it. The Sydney sleeper on hit, it deploys them with jar rate. The Hitsman Heatmaker is silent. The Death Machine is, or the Killstreak Machina, is very much a gun which will give you a lot of damage. It fills up its charge meter very fast. It fires this extremely penetrating shot, and it's kind of used if you want people to call you a noob and stuff like that, and you just want to get kills and be made to look good. Because like with a Machina, you can hit the guy anywhere, and like it depends on the class of the player you're shooting at, but they should die within 1 to 2 shots. So especially if you headshot them, that's them just out. But the Huntsman is definitely my favorite gun, primarily for casual. Moving on to my secondary. Now most people, they'll put like an SMG here, or the Cleaner's Carbine, or the Darwin's Danger Shield, or the Cozy Camper. So the Cozy Camper basically gives you 4% regenerated health per second on wearer. SMG is obviously a sub-machine gun. And the Darwin's Danger Shield basically gives you 50% extra fire damage resistance on the wearer. So yeah, but for me I have to go with Razorback, because spies, they love snipers. They just love us. Because who wouldn't want? Because a spy's perfect kill is a backstab. It doesn't matter how you get it, it's a backstab or a taunt kill. And basically the way that most snipers work is they stand still in one point, move around very minorly, and they try and snipe people, as a sniper does. So it's very easy for a spy to come up behind them, backstab them, taunt kill them whatsoever, and get kind of 3 or 4 kills in quick succession of like 3 or 4 snipers standing next to each other. So I have the Razorback, which the way it works is it protects me from one backstab. So a spy can come up behind me, he can stab me, the shield will then break, which means then I'm vulnerable, but I will hear the noise of it breaking, and I'll quickly turn around and hopefully be able to get away, or be able to kill the spy. So that's why I love the Razorback. It's protected me in so many countless occasions. It's really fantastic, and I love it. I really do. I don't know where I'd be in the game without it. And then for my, I'm about to say tertiary, that's a geography term. For my melee, I have the Tribalman's Shiv, and the way this works is when you hit someone, they bleed for 6 seconds, although it does have a 50% damage penalty. But yeah, no, I really like the way it looks, and I just love giving people bleed. There is of course the Bushwhacker, which crits whenever it would normally mini crit, which is pretty cool. And now I can't pronounce this. The Shahansa. Oh no, I don't want to equip that. But basically the way that works is there's a 25% increase in damage when health is below 50% of max, but it decreases 25% of the damage when health is over 50% of the maximum health. So yeah, and then I have what gods? I have the Killer Solo, and I have the didgeridoo, which are also both very useful taunts. So yeah, that is my class for the sniper. And lastly and very quickly, we will have a look at the spy. Now my favorite pistol for the spy is the Diamondback, which gives 1 guaranteed critical hit for each building destroyed with your sapper attached or a backstab kill. I also love the way it looks and love the sound. Although I do love the Ambassador. Crits on headshots, everything else is bad about it, but crits on headshot and just the way it looks. Oh, it's just beautiful. But I also just love the sound of the Diamondback. Then the Spicicle is definitely my favourite knife for backstabbing. Basically, when you stab someone in the back, it turns them to ice, and they fall to floor. They fall to the floor as they were when you backstab them. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so that is pretty awesome, which I like about it. And then I have the Cloak and Dagger. If I was playing professional, I'd go for the Dead Ringer, but I'm not ready, so I'm going to go for the Cloak and Dagger. Yeah, it's just a better version of the Invis-Watch. So, Invis-Watch, sorry. So yeah, that is my class for the spy, and that does clock up the video, guys. So if you have enjoyed today's video, I know it was a bit of a long one, but if you did enjoy today's video, please comment, like and subscribe down below. I'm going to be producing a lot more of these now. I am back, and as soon as I get a better computer, a better laptop, which hopefully will be soon when the lockdown is over, I will be getting new headphones, a new mic, which will allow me to produce better quality videos for you at a higher frame rate, a higher FPS, which is also frame rate. I don't know why I said that 2 times actually. Anyway, you know what I mean. But if you did enjoy the content, please go on, like and subscribe. We are so close to 100 subscribers. I am so excited for it. We can do it. Whoop whoop. Stand it up, please. Whoop whoop. That's right, because we are getting hot, boys. This channel is going up. So please make sure you should share it as well. You'll be doing me a massive favor. Yeah. So happy days, guys, and I will see you legends in the next one.